Imagine your destiny. See all that? You see all that heresy there? Take a good look. There's a lot going on here, huh?
Sources say they have removed several boxes of what is believed to be human remains. Sources say many people.
We'll come back to that another day. I played that already.
Kingdom is prosperous. Whenever she leaves, the kingdom starts to fall. Now, we talk about this because there's some stuff you need to get. She has an incense called Lakshmi drops. It's a little box. I don't know. You go to East Indian places, I don't know, but you can find this stuff in New York. And it's called Lakshmi drops. And you burn those incense, and the money starts to come. I bought some Lakshmi drops and lit the incense, and people start calling on the phone. Hey, I'm gonna send you some money Friday.
Magic, y'all.
As the 5% nation would call it, when they say 5%, right, the original meaning they had was that out of all the people in the world, only 5% of the world knew the truth, lived the truth, teach the truth. There's another 10% of the world who also knows the truth, who use the truth against others and trick knowledge and ways like that to manipulate the other 85% who are just sheep to be led this way, led that way. They say at any given moment we can take 100 people and it'll be 5 out of that 100 that's going to really be pure people. Maybe the other 10 are wise, but they're using their wisdom to make us exhausted. That was the original meaning of it. What it did for me is called getting knowledge of yourself. And getting knowledge of yourself is the key to life. If a man don't know himself, he can't know nobody else. If a man don't respect himself, he can't respect nobody else. When it came to the supreme mathematics, the first thing they taught us was knowledge, which is one. And that means to look, listen, observe, and respect. No matter what you do, you walk in any room, you do the knowledge. You look, you listen, you observe, you respect where you act. Then you act upon it, which is wisdom. Wisdom is just the manifestation of knowledge. It's just the action of knowledge. But knowledge is what's contained within you. So those principles actually saved my life dozens and dozens of times because I'm able to take a look first or listen.
You heard what he said, right? One more for you.
I know that there is somebody who needs to hear this word. There are people out here playing victim. And you wonder why they going through what they going through. They supposed to be going through what they going through. See, it's by the grace of God that good people lend a hand, lend out something to them just so they can get to the next level. See, we can't over help people because some people are actually going through what they're going through because they need to. We end up enabling people from what God already was trying to show them. Come to find out, these people did something so bad that they deserve to be in the position that they're in. Because then come to find out, they betrayed you. It's the people that's closest to you that's betraying you. I'm here to tell you right now, don't overextend yourself. Don't lose yourself in the process. No more enabling people. If people ain't for you and they against you, let them go immediately. Why are you sitting here suffering over people who don't care about you? They will walk over you just to get to the other side. It's time to walk back. God already seen your heart. He knows your heart. You are his child. He's ready for you to fight back now. It's time to stand up for yourself. And don't come back without standing up for yourself. Because it's time to pick a side. Which side is people on for real? I want you to know that you are not alone. The enemy is trying to cause us to lose self-control. But we ain't got time for that. We already up on game. We already know what they're trying to do. The enemy trying to take down as many people as they can because the time is running out. See, You know what's so crazy? It be the people that you help and that you put in a certain position. They try to turn on you. They forget that you gave them life, that you gave them something to go off of. Some people is ready to just unalive themselves, give up. But you was there for them. You never was the type of person to talk about what you did. But the only time you talk about what you did for somebody when they actually don't appreciate it, when it seems like they don't even see what you did, so you bring it up because it behooves you. You kind of shocked because did you not see what I just did for you? We sitting out here making sacrifices for people, and then they want to play the victim after. See, people don't show their true colors until you have to let them go. The moment you let them go, the moment you say no, the moment you know you can't help them, that's when they show their true colors. And see, now, people like that, it's almost like they mess up for other people, but we gotta continue to still be us. Because at the end of the day, we already know what we up against. We can save some, but we can't save all. But just know, people showing their true colors right now, and God is watching. We don't have to do nothing. Because where is the God in you? Vengeance is the Lord's. It's not ours.
Heard what them two people said? Because you're going to be lost in the next if you don't. Why you be tap dancing, Billy Hennon and singing? Don't you know they need you? Oh yeah, the people that run this world, the worldly spirits. They're hybrids. They're, you know this, decagons, lizard niggas. Phasing in and out of people because the strong step into the presence and then they glitch. That's what you say, but nah, we making them phase out of the body. We ain't even point the weapon at them yet. We just stepped in the building. That's why they don't like you. See, when they step in the building, no power effect like that. I'm talking about at the party, even the record DJ stop. And then when you walk in, everything go back to normal. Pretty sure powerful people felt that presence. And they always say, yeah, man, I ain't want all that damn attention. I wouldn't have came in at that time. I known that would have happened. And all eyes on me type ordeal. Us people don't like that. True power.
Name is Raven Baxter, also known as Raven the Science Maven. And let me tell you something. I think a lot of us have been walking around here saying melanin magic, melanin poppin', melanin queen, but you don't actually know the science behind what exactly melanin is. And I'm going to teach you guys today. Don't worry, you don't have to be walking around here ignorant. No, I'm playing. I'm sure that if you think that melanin is just something that gives your body its brown color, that you're gonna learn something new today. So, I'm gonna teach y'all, okay? All right. Okay, I am a molecular biologist and science communicator, and I am going to teach you about melanin today. The word melanin has a Greek root from melos, and that means dark or black. And melanin itself is an umbrella term for pigments that are naturally occurring in organisms. What a lot of people don't know about melanin is that there's just not one type. Like when we say melanin magic, when we say melanin poppin', we're usually only talking about one type of melanin, and that is the melanin that produces like brown and black pigments, and that's eumelanin. But there's two other types of melanin. There's pheomelanin, which is largely responsible for producing red to yellow pigments, and then there's also neuromelanin, which plays a different role in the body. I'm gonna talk about that later because that one is a little complicated. Let's first talk about where melanin comes from, what it does, and then I'm gonna get into like the specific types of melanin. When human skin, melanogenesis, which is a big word for creation of melanin, that is caused by or triggered by exposure to you.
Y'all saw that, right? That's definitely your Bible. Yeah. Malu. Life. Alu. Mahalan. Genesis.
UV radiation. And where is the biggest source of UV radiation on this planet? It is from the sun. So our sun produces UV rays, it penetrates our atmosphere, and it hits all of these surfaces on our planet, including human skin. When UV rays come into contact with human skin, our melanocytes, which are cells that produce melanin, start to make melanin. And that is why when we sit out in the sun for long periods of time, we get darker, we tan. Even I tan. Melanin is an effect effective absorbent of light. It actually is able to dissipate 99.9% of UV radiation. Because of this, we think that melanin might play a really big role in photoprotection, protecting our skin cells, our melanocytes from DNA damage. UV light, if it hits our DNA, can cause damage to our DNA, which in turn can create cancer. So if our bodies are producing melanin, that means more protection potentially. We're still trying to understand that relationship between photoprotection and skin pigmentation, but there's good evidence out there that a deeper skin pigmentation could play a role in photoprotection. Melanin is not just found in the skin, it's actually found in places like our hair, it's found in our eyes, even in our brain stems, and also even in our adrenal gland, which sits on top of our kidney. Isn't that crazy? However, not all of us produce the same types of melanin or same levels of melanin. You may have heard of albinism or have seen someone who is albino, and that is someone that produces very little to no melanin. Therefore, their skin pigmentation is often very, very light, if not white. Back to
What's the curse? Who really is bleached, but you call it black under the name Ham? Oh, follow the Bible.
I was saying earlier, there are three main types of melanin: eumelanin, pheomelanin, and neuromelanin. Both pheomelanin and eumelanin are found in human skin and hair, but eumelanin is the most common type of pigment found in humans. And in folks who have albinism, eumelanin is most likely the type of melanin that they are lacking. So let's talk more about eumelanin. Eumelanin, which comes in two pigments, brown and black. Y'all have seen eumelanin in action in many different ways, not just in our skin, but even our hair. Remember I said melanin is not just found in our skin, it's localized in other parts of our bodies. As we get older, our bodies stop producing as much brown eumelanin, and when that happens, our hair turns gray. A small amount of brown eumelanin in the absence of other pigments creates blonde hair. So if you can kind of think of melanin as an equation where there's different colors, or maybe even think about art where you have different colors and you're putting colors in, you're mixing colors together, taking away some colors, you get different pigments, you get different hues. I'm probably not using the correct art terms. Please forgive me. And if you are an art person, correct me down in the comments. Y'all see what I'm saying? You get different shades, hues, pigments, colors. You get all of these different combinations. And that is the beauty of the diversity of the human spectrum of how we look. Varying shades of skin colors are all a reflection of the different amounts of the types of melanin that are produced in our bodies. Pheomelanins are responsible for red to yellow pigmentation. Pheomelanin is most commonly concentrated in our lips. So inside of my lips are pink. I put pink lipstick on, but if you look in my mouth's pink. And it's also concentrated in our genital areas. Okay? So I don't even really want to talk about that, but y'all got Google. Different parts of our bodies are also pink, and that is because of pheomelanin. Let's go back to the hair example. You have a small bit of brown eumelanin and a little bit of red pheomelanin, and together actually produces that
Red germ, black germ, white germ, yellow, right? That what is Tibetan, people of the sun, people of the ether, black, and then the white, right? Okay, so we see that it was talking about melanin.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. You can just call me Brother Moore. Don't worry about the doctor, professor, all that stuff.
Skip a little bit.
Really? Well, what do you know about melanin? Because the thing is, then we will get kind of sidetracked. And everybody's going to have a different opinion, or everybody might have the same opinion. But rather than do that, I want to just give you a sense of what melanin is. When you speak of the word melanin, you usually think of what you see in terms of the color of a person's skin. Well, certainly melanin does relate to a pigment. That is certainly true. But it's more than just a pigment, because it has qualities that help it to function within this universe. So when we speak of what I wrote in chapter 3, which is really the most important chapter of the book, to home in on what it is that melanin does,
there are some advantages to having melanin functioning in the body. And there are three that you can think of to put in your mind. One is a neutralizer of free radicals, or a neutralizer of toxic substances within the body. So it's a neutralizer. So as we're going through this discussion, try to remember, it's not just the skin melanin we're talking about. Melanin is also found inside of the body. So we'll break down those other places within the body it's found, but just kind of remember that melanin itself is acting as a neutralizer of harmful substances that are in the body. The reason why we as African people may not age as quick as Europeans may, because of the melanin. It's cutting off the free radicals from destroying the cells, therefore we have a much younger appearance. You may have your 90-year-old grandmother may look 60 or something. So that has a lot to do with the way melanin is functioning. Now within the body, in terms of in the brain, you start talking about a neutralizer of free radicals. Well, just as it is collecting these substances on the outside of the body, it can also collect them within the brain. And one of the places that's rather heavily melanated or heavily dark in color is the substantia nigra. Yeah, it sounds like a big word, but when you look at it, it's a Latin word for black substance. Substantia, substance, nigra, black. There's a disorder or a neurodegenerative problem called Parkinson's disease. I'm sure many of you have heard of that. People who suffer from Parkinson's disease, it's a neurodegenerative disorder. These cells start to deteriorate. People, they shuffle when they walk, they tremors. They also can't initiate movements. You know, your mind is telling you to do something, but you can't actually do it. There's something going wrong in the brain. Part of the brain that's being disturbed is a part that's melanated. Well, we don't really know what the cause of Parkinson's disease is, but the thing is, people are saying that it may be accumulation of these free radicals or these toxic substances over years. Because normally you don't develop Parkinson's disease age 10, 11, 12. You get it when you're older in life. When you've eaten all the terrible things that you shouldn't have been eating throughout your life. All the things you know about pesticides in food and the so-called cumulative effect.
Muhammad Ali, right? Others. Michael J. Fox. These are all free agents of freedom that represented something and went against the grain, which proves the guy right about them attacking in the God substance gene. Made the God Ghostbuster machine called CERN to attack us with the power.
You don't just die of natural causes, you die of toxicity, poisoning over years. So the same thing could be occurring within that part of the brain called the substantia nigra. So it's just absorbing those free radicals. So good on in one sense in terms of absorbing these toxic substances, but on the other end it could be a disadvantage. So that's why we don't want to be misled that melanin makes you great and just leave it at that, as in some books have led us to believe. The one written by Carol Barnes, Melanin, the Chemical Key to Black Greatness. So it sounds like, well, yeah, it's just chemical makes us great, but we don't need to be too confused about that. The second role that I spoke of is it's acting as a nerve conduction facilitator. When we say nerve conduction facilitator, we're speaking of the way that our brains are operating. Can't function without a brain. The brain is a central processing unit, just like for the computer. So within certain parts of the brain, melanin can help to, make those nerve impulses flow a little bit better. So you may have quicker reaction time. So if we look at the eye itself, some people have darker color eyes, some people have blue eyes, or light gray eyes. Well, the darker your eyes, the quicker your reaction time. So maybe people who are marksmen, in terms of maybe even archery, those particular events, people who have darker colored eyes and also a dark pigment on the back of the eye towards the retina, the pigment layer, if that is dark, then this helps the person, function better in the environment in terms of focusing on these the visible light that is in our environment. So when we speak of nerve conduction facilitator, it's helping the nervous system function at a higher level. So possibly helping us vibe with the music, staying on rhythm. And also talking about singing, rapping, and also moving. And there's a lot of people that can't do that. There's a lot of uncoordinated people out there. And we don't want to just say that all black people can rap, all black people got rhythm, because that's not the case. But it can be maximized in people of color, okay? The third point of emphasis about melanin functioning is it acts as an energy.
So why they put them on stage? Why was he at the Super Bowl? do what he do, and now penalized for it. See? It's a game. Why is he being penalized when whoever run the Super Bowl know what he was about? So you just going around like the accuser of the brother and setting up folks, knowing you was the head man. Now you see why God say, "Cursed be the earth for your sake, Adam." For your sake, Adam. Right there's another type of saying. I don't know you. Turn from me, iniquitor. God said, I didn't create this monstrosity that you got inside of you, Adam. For your sake, because I know this whole thing was a setup for you. You didn't know that. That's the part I left out. I'm going to let you slide.
Transformer. All around us there's energy pervading. We don't see the ultraviolet radiation or the visible light, but it's out there. Okay, it's a span of wavelengths that's out there that causes us to see what we see. You start talking about radio bands. We can't see radio bands, but they're out there. Microwaves, can't see them, but they're out there. So there's energy pervading the universe. Well, everywhere that you see melanin in the body, it's at places where energy conversion is happening. So speaking from the skin, speaking about the brain, those are the two main points about, again, this conversion. But speaking from the skin and the brain, everywhere you find melanin, it is functioning to convert energy. So you speak of dealing with the eye, converting the visible light, what you see, into nerve impulses, something that the brain can now understand to detect, to say you see a glass, you see a shirt. Well, in the ear, you have melanin found in the inner ear. You don't see sound waves. You can't really see the actual words coming out of my mouth, but you hear something. That's energy. In the inner ear is where you find melanin. It's functioning to convert those sound waves into nerve impulses so what the brain can understand what you're talking about. Inner ear, eye. We already spoke about the brain in terms of, again, movement. So all those places in the body where you talk about energy conversion.
The Holy Spirit had me say, our melanin makes us articulate every word that you hear. Otherwise, it'd be like, the tongue just be moving with no articulation. But he proved it because I didn't know we had melanin in our ear, which we should, because we hear the voice of the, what? Living divine most high.
Fine melanin. And there's a lot of information in terms of metaphysics. Many of you may know about the chakra system. May know about spiritual centers that are supposed to be within the body. Some speak of the pineal gland as being the crown chakra, the number one to kind of focus on. Well, in those centers are where you, again, find energy transformation going on. And when we start talking about the skin isn't just some covering on our body. It's an organ. Matter of fact, it's the largest organ of the body. So you can break it down. I have a little picture in the book. I think it's diagram number 3. We have on one side, we start talking about if you're under stress. There's some hormones that have to work in the body for you to engage in this particular activity. Don't get too confused about these names now. From the hypothalamus, you have a substance called CRF, corticotropic releasing factor, the corticotropic releasing hormone. It must go to the pituitary gland, located right here, to release something else called ACTH, adrenal corticotropic stimulating hormone. That then goes to the adrenal gland to kick in your cortisol, your glucocorticoids, to get you revved up to deal with the situation. So that's a hormonal response dealing with a certain organ in the body that you just talked about. But look on the other end, when you start talking about for the skin, you got within the brain something called POMC. I have it written here, but the long name of that is pro-opiomelanocortin. Certainly when you read the book, you start to understand those things. Right? Pro-opiomelanocortin, pro-opio. Opio, there's some form of like opioid in there. So you know about opium and how that makes you feel good. Well, there's something in your body that makes you feel good too. Pro-opio, melano. There's something in there to do with making you dark in color. Something within that structure. Cortin. That's also where you have a breakdown of this substance we're talking about, ACTH. Well, POMC can go ahead and talk to the pituitary gland to make MSH, melanocyte stimulating hormone, which can also then go to the skin to produce more melanin. So
simply in your Bibles, for faith is the substance. That word substance is the melanin. That melanin is why they call it the Mandela effect. Switch the words and put the deep verse and spell melanin. And then put Sepha for the Sephiroth of the substance of the faith that was put in the pineal gland, the size of a mustard seed, but the most powerfulest thing on this universe. Not everybody has it, as your Bible tells you. See? Bible, Babel. Today we call languages. See? Braka! Until next time.